people talk about trade-offs between sustainable development and poverty reduction. I actually don't think those exist. I think if we're to build development approaches that reduce poverty, we have to integrate sustainability into them. Sustainability isn't just about environment, it's also about economy and social dimensions of development. And ultimately an integrated approach that keeps those three going together and looks towards building fairer and more sustainable and less unequal economies and societies is the way we have to go. And development challenges, I think, are all about building the pathways that can steer the world and people and societies within ecological limits, but also fundamentally respect basic human rights to decent lives, to voice, to well-being in all its many dimensions. The concept of the nexus of food and water and energy has really risen up the research and policy agenda in recent years. It's much talked about. And I think it's a way of recognising explicitly in policy and research actually what rural people living in places around the world, or indeed businesses, have often recognised. That actually natural resources are deeply important for what one does, that challenges around having enough to eat, around having supplies, around dealing with water and energy are not separate. They're just fully integrated in the ways that people live. What we're seeing that's new is the recognition of this integration as something that policymakers should be taking seriously, and researchers are now becoming more interested in exploring the nexus and what it means in different parts of the world and for different people. Well, I think one thing first to say about the nexus approach is it's sometimes being seen as a win-win and as a technocratic approach. If we can just get these different sectors working better together, all will be well. And I'd say fundamentally we have to ask some more political questions about it and about the politics of the kinds of transformations that will get sectors working better. But we also have to ask about distribution and about equity, about who gains and who loses from prioritising one sector over another, or indeed different dimensions and trade-offs and tensions within aspects of those systems. And these questions of the political economy of the nexus that are relevant everywhere. They're absolutely relevant in the UK, where, for instance, one's grappling with the challenges of fuel poverty in relation to developing approaches towards green energy. The nexus approach is being implicitly recognised, for instance, in what a lot of social movements are arguing for in terms of transitions towns and more sustainable ways of living. Equally, they're part and parcel of the ways people in African settings are living with natural resources and pursuing their livelihoods. And they're deeply relevant to how policymakers in fast-growing economies like Brazil or China are addressing energy challenges, thinking about low-carbon energy and hydropower and its relationships, say, with water and food security. So the nexus approach, I think, is critical to how we begin to talk about the politics of green transformation everywhere, locally, nationally and globally. And it's very much part of a post-2015 agenda which sees sustainable development as global and universal, where we have mutual responsibilities, albeit ones that have to be pursued in diverse ways to suit different contexts.